So we were talking backstage. It's been almost 2 years to the date that you've been here. First, introduce yourself. Besides the fact that this is the Lone Bellow, introduce yourself individually to everybody.
Hello, I'm Kaneen.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Brian.
And that was with the third album that you had out. This is fourth album. It's Half Moon Light. You're at Revolution Hall tonight for a performance. I'm trying to avoid any question about the coronavirus, but it's got to impact a little bit how you're doing your tour. I mean, you're a month into it, and besides our meet and greet that's not happening, what other things are you sort of thinking about as you're touring?
Well, there's been two things that's happened on this tour that's made it pretty interesting. One is the coronavirus, which we're in it with you guys. We don't know. We don't know what to do. We're just going to do our best. And then the other is this tornado that hit our hometown, like specifically our neighborhood in East Nashville, and like not being there and being out on the road. And I think coronavirus, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. And I'm going to do an elbow thing when I say hi to people and try to be a part of a cathartic night. Like last night, we were in Seattle, and it was the last show, I think, for a little while, because today they put out a thing that was like, there's no gatherings over 250 people in that city. And, some of the messages that we got back this morning was like, thank you for just like that, like, place to be able just to like be. And we felt the same way. We were like, thank you. And then with the tornado, like, there's one side of us where we would really love to be home, like, helping get trees and limbs off of our neighbors' houses and helping rebuild. So it was frustrating not being there for that. But our drummer, Julian Dorio, had this idea of starting this GoFundMe thing. And we just put it up on our Instagram and our Facebook, and then like it shows, we like put out a little thing where you can give money, and we've already raised like close to $6,000. So we're really looking forward to just being able to give that money to the people that know how to distribute it well, and all of a sudden, our work on tour is helping the work in our hometown. So I don't know.
That's a lot. Well, it's interesting because it ties into this that I saw on your website. It's sort of a description of the album, a mix of light and dark to muster a complex ode to memory, a call for hope, and an exercise in empathy. So, I mean, just your description right there of sort of what's on your mind as you're out on tour certainly speaks to that.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and these are really personal stories that you're telling in these songs. You went into the studio and you lived in this studio, kind of a remote area, for a number of weeks. Did you have the songs written when you went in, or was it sort of part of the process of writing and producing and recording these as well?
We had them written when we went in. We had kind of our side of what we wanted to do with the songs, and then Aaron Desner, the producer, kind of had his side of what he wanted to do. And it became this just beautiful collaboration. It's really my favorite work that I've had the honor of being a part of making, for sure.
Well, one other thing, I saw that you had said you were nervous about the release of this album, and you weren't really sure why you were nervous. Was it because you think it's one of the best pieces that you've put out?
I'm pretty simple-minded when it comes to that stuff. Like, for me, like, this is our fourth record, and it's really easy to start leaning on the things that you've been told you're good at, all right? So, like, we've been told that we're good at singing really high notes, really loud together, and we didn't want to do that on this record, to the point where the producer was like, had this ongoing joke in the studio where he's like, I'm clipping the eagle's wings. So a lot of the songs are sung lower, and at first that freaked me out But then, after living with it and seeing that we could express the values and emotion that we wanted to in a different way, it made our music just a lot more fresh to me, to us. And maybe even like we found a new way of singing, which is exciting. But I don't want to talk the whole time. This is what this is my main problem in life.
I had a question for Kaneen, and that kind of builds into it because you said that you wanted to draw people into a kind of conversation. And that's what you felt that this album did instead of singing at people and performing for people.
Singing at people is a terrible feeling. It's like you're, I don't know, 5 years old and you realize you aren't that cute anymore. That's the best way I can describe it. But yeah, I think, people want to see you be vulnerable. It makes them feel safe enough to be vulnerable. And I think we definitely went to those places with this record. And so I hope people hear it and they think, oh, wow, like, I feel that way, or it's okay to feel that way, or, are able to process some things through it, for sure.
What do you think?
My overarching goal for what we do is that it just brings people together, honestly. Because I know it's so simple, but it is a simple-minded thing. I want people to come together, whatever stripes they had, they come in together, and we create a moment that we can share together and just remember that we're humans and it's hard and it's beautiful at the same time. So yeah.
And I think we all need that moment right now, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the new album, as I mentioned, it's their fourth album. It's Half Moonlight. They're at Revolution Hall tonight, and last I looked, tickets are still available. And you guys are going to play some more music off of that. Let's hear it for the Lone Bellow.